Hi, I'm Nim Shafran. This is my Anima Amin project about the importance of Israel travel for Bnei Mitzvah kids with their family. This is Rabbi Ami here. She's the senior rabbi of Stephen Wise Free Synagogue, a large and affluent Reform synagogue in the Upper West Side in Manhattan. Rabbi Hirsch was quoted saying that in the Orthodox world, a bar or bat mitzvah service is the child's ticket into Judaism. But in Reform Judaism, the bar bat mitzvah service is the child's ticket out of Judaism. There are multiple challenges of why communities are having a hard time engaging with kids post their bar bat mitzvah service. Lack of structured programming, competing interests, adolescence and identity explorations, and more importantly, relevance. And addressing these challenges requires a proactive approach from Jewish communities to create engaging, relevant, and inclusive opportunities that resonate with the evolving interests and needs of post-bar bat mitzvah teens. A few years ago, the travel company I worked for had a professional development seminar. As part of the seminar, we interviewed on video a few of our most loyal clients. On the left, Rabbi Elliot Cosgrove from Park Avenue Synagogue, and on the right, Rabbi David Stern from Temple Emmanuel of Dallas, a very large Reform congregation. We asked both of them the same questions, and they gave us very different answers. The only time they gave us the exact same answer is when we asked them about what started your special connection to Israel. They both said that their bar mitzvah gift was to travel to Israel with their father, and that trip ignited their love for the people of Israel and the state of Israel. Recently, I attended a seminar with Dr. Leslie Littman from HUC. She talked about addressing the complexities of Israel from a very young age. She also mentioned that kids, even at a young age, are able to hold both love and pain together, again, from a very young age. This is what she said about travel to Israel.
The travel to Israel, and we tend to wait for learners, people to go to Israel when they're teens on birthright. And I think there's a little bit of a miss, because I think being in Israel is like, that's it, that's the end all and be all, because you walk through a place and it walks through you. And it's intangible, it's the most powerful. And I wanna just advocate here that we think about how we can take families with children in elementary school to Israel. I've done it a few times. I've watched entire families transform. When you take the kids away from their parents when they're young, or when they're teens, and send them off, Israel becomes a countercultural thing. But when we bring them together at a time pre-bar mitzvah, we create a bond and a cementing in an experience in which Israel runs through the family and through the people. So I'm going to push us to think about how we, and now it's a little difficult, but how we get people to Israel as young as possible and in family units.
So the challenge is that all the programs that offer either free trips or heavily subsidized trips to Israel are either for older teens or adults and not focusing on Bnei Mitzvah kids and family trips. Route 1 focuses on teens. A lot of times we're talking about older teens, sometimes even seniors in high school that go on these programs, and also not in a family setting. Birthright, we're talking about young adults. Honeymoon Israel, we're talking about adults who, after they get married or just before they get married. And Momentum, we are talking about women going to Israel, adult women going to Israel. And so none of these programs that offer the subsidized trips to Israel or free trips to Israel really try to engage with kids and with family settings. The challenge is we don't deal with the complexity of Israel until it's too late. Jewish people get to Israel for the first time, if at all, when they're too old. When Jewish people travel to Israel, it's not with their family, and part of the reason why is because family trips to Israel are very expensive, and not too many Jewish families can afford going to Israel with their family. So now a little bit about what I do. I work for J Squared. It's a travel company. It's an educational travel company, and we cater to the Jewish world. This is our catchphrase, the Jewish people's story. It's your story. Here is just a minute about what it is that we do.
When was the last time you took a journey? When was the last time you opened your eyes to something new? Changing the way you see the world, places, people, Judaism, yourself. When was the last time you took a meaningful trip with family and friends, connected with a complete stranger? We create journeys of inspiration, education, and Jewish connections. A trip with us can be life-changing, helping you discover where you have come from and where you are going. You are part of a bigger story, the Jewish people's story, your story.
So the vision is to facilitate a heavily subsidized, meaningful bar bat mitzvah trip to Israel for parents and their kids. Ideally, each trip will be from the same city, which will allow forming new relationships and connections and follow up after the trip. The goals of the trip: understanding the complexity of Israel at a very young age, deepening Jewish identity, connecting with historical and religious sites, fostering a sense of community, creating spiritual and emotional impact, encouraging lifelong connection to Judaism and to Israel and its people, and strengthening family bonds. The values that I chose are knowledge, dat. We want to give kids, again, from a very young age, a lot of knowledge about Israel, a lot of knowledge about Judaism. The other value is curiosity, sakranut. I think that with a trip, we really we can talk more about the curiosity, learning about where we come from, about our story, and belonging, being part of something bigger, not just part of our family. Again, bigger circles of the Jewish story, and how do I belong to the Jewish story? Thank you for listening.